But at least now it can't get much worse.
But it did get worse.
I saw this screen grab, and immediately, I'm not muted. You're lying. This isn't muted. I can see the audio levels. If I am, I'm going to check them now. I can see them. It's not muted. I saw this and I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to understand why people find Gorl World entertaining. Now, this is kind of a first for me. Now, I do have in my... Why do people keep saying it's like... Now I'm paranoid. Now I actually have to go check. Yeah, the Curb Your Enthusiasm. You guys are actually... you guys are actually tricking me. Now I have to go check on my second monitor. Yeah, this is Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is a very funny name. People, am I actually muted? Yeah, okay. You guys got me. But anyway, long story short, I've got a Discord. People demanded a Girl World death fats thing for ages, and I gave them their content. Yeah, it's working. Sorry, no. There we go. I just had to check it. They demanded it, but I kind of knew about Chantel for a while, but I haven't followed her religiously. But something very funny has happened in the last couple of days, and that is, well, I guess the last week or so, 2 weeks, is I believe she moved from Kuwait because she robbed a mother kitten of the kitten, tried to raise funds for it, which was illegal because she isn't licensed to do a fundraiser. The kitten people came after her. She fled back to Canada. I believe also she didn't even have a visa. But now she has fled to Syria, which is a terrible idea. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go back a little bit. I found a couple funny things about Chantel. I've known I remember seeing her almost capsize a boat in Thailand, but we'll go back and explain because I think many people from my channel probably don't have a good idea of her, of who she is. But she's basically like, how to describe her? She's kind of like a female mix of Darkside Phil and maybe Wings of Redemptions or Boogie or something. A person that is, they kind of have like a cycle they go through. Like they call it the Chantel cycle, where I think she goes through, she attempts to lose weight, she breaks down, she binge eats, then she awakens and it all starts again. But there's a couple funny clips that I found that I think we'll start off with. Just kind of give us set the stage, right? This one's called Curb Your Enthusiasm by French Fried Gorl. The Gorl people are very funny. They've got very good names for their channels. I saw one called Gorlic Bread or something. It was pretty entertaining. All right, so we'll go back and see this one to give you an idea of who this is. Now, you may be asking why she's wearing a hijab, and it's not really because she's Muslim or anything. It's because she's bald. She's bald. That's the real reason. All right, so this is what, 38 seconds. Let's check this out.
Let's just be honest. You guys know, if we actually do bees overseas, it is going to be tip-top quality content.
I mean, I love these are the playground things that you spin around on. But they have to be balanced. If it's unbalanced, then it's gonna just go off its rocker. There's something so funny about this outfit too. Like it's giving me, I love The Simpsons. It's very much giving me Homer Simpson in a Momo vibes when he was not a crazy person, when he was robbing that ice cream van so he could save the entire world from the Springfield from the toxic gases. This is a good start. Now, is that a whole pizza? Is this a scale whole pizza? Is that what I'm seeing here? They call her Hijaba the Hutt. She's like the original Frogan. She's like the double sized Frogan or something. Turns down a little bit. What the fuck is this? Like, I know that the people that follow Chantel are very accurate in their reporting of her, and I'm going to get things wrong inevitably tonight. So feel free to yell at me and correct me and correct the record and everything, okay? I can't keep track of all of your boyfriends. I can't keep track of all of the drama arcs, but I'm going to go over the recent stuff, and then we might, in the future, do more of a big deep dive through her entire history. But is this literally like 10 pounds of rotten mince? Is this what I'm looking at? Is this just rotten mints? I gotta say, I love this picture though. It's like the bean. It's just like a bean with a face. I love it too much. Imagine the smell exactly. Oh no! Now I'm actually familiar with these because the squatty potty is actually not so common these days, but it used to be pretty common when I first moved over to Japan. And the first place I worked had one of these, although they did actually have a regular toilet as well. But just there's not even any toilet paper. Oh my goodness, this is just the crap shack. I've never seen a bathroom this bad. I mean, fortunately the floor's clean though. That's at least something. Oh, what an intro! What an intro! Very good. No way she can squat. It's hijab, not hajib. What is the difference? What is the difference between a hijab and a hajib? I don't know. Somebody tell me. Hopefully I can get the Hassan orbiters mad by saying it wrong so that I can start claiming that I'm under attack or something. That's a great way to grow your channel. Chill Station says late and goy, I assume. Thank you for the 5 anyway. And Bene Dundat also said, instead of free Palestine, it's now free Syria. The only thing that they're free in Syria is they're power free, as I understand it. It's the funniest thing, moving to a war-torn country to escape the cat authorities. There's also this one, Foodie Beauty contacting Nada, and I think Nada was one of her boyfriends that kind of pimped her out. And I remember seeing clips of him like showing her underwear. Like it was like a giant sheet, like a fitted sheet, and he would I think he would pimp her out basically. Like she's got this like crazy history. I have seen the Turkey Tom documentary a while ago, but it's not exactly fresh in my memory. So we'll check this one out too before we start covering this stuff. And you can see here that she's bald. She's bald. This is from Marley Hendricks. This is why I say she's kind of a mix of Wings of Redemption, because if you just showed me this picture and asked me to describe which locale this was, I would say it's Wings of Redemption.
I'll show you now. What is this?
No, what is this? So this is Nada, right? This is Nada. Nada says Chantal is contacting him. This is from 7 days ago.
Look at this.
Does this Nada guy have his own channel? Foodie Beauty contacted on June 20. Oh no, she's getting back together. I think that like he's like the rebound guy, right? Is that correct, Gorls? He's like the guy that she always goes back to. There was like this, I remember this other really embarrassing thing. Like there's so many embarrassing facts about her. In fact, I even have like a little notepad I have of some of the things. But she started, all right, yeah. She began to get a taste for Middle Eastern men and also Egyptian men. And she found the Egyptian man who was basically a dom. And I remember that he spanked her so raw that her ass was black or something. But then she was talking about this on stream in front of like one of her boyfriends. And he was just sitting there taking it. It was like so embarrassing. Anyway, let's continue. It's a fake message. An old woman wrote it to stir controversy. There is like the girl industrial complex is so fascinating to me because people are absolutely love this woman. All right, so apparently this is fake. If it's fake, then I'll skip it. I'll skip that one. All right. All right. This is I was trying to find like a quick rundown of what she was so I can explain it, but I think this won't be sufficient, but we'll check this one out as well. Let's keep it up, QT. Then we'll get into the actual stuff.
I need to do this, and I know my life will be a lot better 365 days from now, 364 days from now.
That's why I think weight loss journeys are it. I'm not downing you if you have a weight loss journey and you're losing weight. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you.
John. If you've ever heard people refer to Josh Moon as Dear Feeder, it's because he would talk about Chantal and people got in their heads that he was a feeder, because a lot of people that are interested in this chick are feeders. A lot of the characters in her story are feeders. Now, I think that she started off trying to do like beauty content, like, like the get ready with me sort of things, the makeup stuff. That's very competitive though. It's actually a very lucrative industry if you get into it. But one day she uploaded a video of her eating like a lasagna and it got way more food. And that from that point on, she just became like an oversharing food, mukbang person. The people that just eat on camera, essentially.
For me?
Turn this down a little bit. Let's have a look.
I really don't know what I was thinking with
with all these mukbangs. I'm
Come on
gonna
now.
do mukbangs, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch.
Now, this is when she still had her hair. I'm not sure what caused her to lose her hair, but she had some very bad health things. I think she had like a hysterectomy and obviously diabetes and some other stuff. But there was something else I forgot, some sort of condition. I'm not sure if it's connected to that or it's connected to stress.
Because I don't know.
She
if
saved
I
it.
can
Yeah, she
handle
shaved it
another
because she was
binge
losing
and
it.
the guilt
It
and
was
the
thinning.
despair.
Yeah, she was trying to get ahead of her baldness.
So whenever I made that video, I'm never gonna binge again. At that time, in that mind frame, I was on a high.
I'm eating myself to
I
death.
don't know if it's alopecia.
My
I don't
new
think so.
attitude is my weight, my health, what I eat is my business.
And then comes the final stage, the cover-up. She doesn't just pretend it
I mean, I would like for her to be more covered up, but that's just me.
never happened. She erases the evidence. Every time she makes a grand speech about self-improvement, those videos mysteriously disappear once she inevitably fails. That's why her YouTube channel looks so empty despite her constant live streaming. She's been nuking her failures for years, thinking that if the evidence is gone, the internet will forget. But here's the problem with this.
Is she wrapped in saran wrap? Like, why is she so shiny?
For every live stream she deletes, for every rant she pretends never happened, there are dozens of reaction channels, archives, and entire communities dedicated to preserving her every misstep. Chantal thinks she can erase her failures, but the reality is, she's built an entire audience whose sole purpose is to document her downfall. And this isn't just about a few trolls making fun of her.
I don't think you need to document her downfall. I think when she finally falls, it's going to be one of those seismic events that's recorded around the Earth. Like, what is it, like when Krakatoa erupted or something? The shockwaves went around the world like 3 times or something like that. Or maybe that was the asteroid. I can't remember.
It's about an entire reaction community that thrives on holding her accountable in ways she refuses to do herself.
Now, if you want to know, like, just how popular she is, like, sorry, I'm sharing some things already. I mean, on her channel, she does fairly well. She's getting like 300,000 views a month, more or less, right? Now, but there's like every one of these is so good. Like every one of these, here we go. We'll do that. So there was like a race. There was kind of like a race on the Kiwi farms between Nick Recator and Foodie Beauty to see which one would get 10,000 pages first. Now, of course, the lolcal of the year beat her, but she's pretty close. If I have a look here, she's down. She's what is that? Like 67? No, sorry. That would be 77 pages away. Narrowly missed out on it. Now, I'll do a bit of a backstory for you about who she is, although I do have some of my notes, but I'll go through her like her OP and so we can get an idea. But she kind of like I said, she was doing beauty content and then she was doing food eating content, but she started oversharing. Like she would talk about sharting, she would talk about boyfriends, she would talk about her underage relationships. It was really disgusting stuff. Like I think that she brought like a guy, like a fingerless man home one day. Like unironically, he was like missing fingers. Who then started crying for his mother or something. She literally flashed people to get a Klondike bar, which I've never seen a Klondike bar, but I imagine it's like an ice cream. It's like ice cream with chocolate. So she literally showed her tits for ice cream. She tried to get in beauty and makeup, but then got hungry. People started watching more. She doesn't remember her first words, but she remembers her first bag of chips, which I thought was very funny. She started to get like these weird tumors. And then she would try and do these weird like diets that she would only eat grapes that hope that they would heal the tumors. And then she also prayed to future ghosts. I'm not sure what that means, but I've got it in my notes. Anyway, so let's take a little bit of a background check, and then we'll get into the regular content stuff. So let's see. She originally was as Foodie Beauty or Big Beautiful Me. Okay. She's a Canadian, of course, whose channel was created in 2013. And she is an avid reader of her own thread. She is notable for her manic attempts to cultivate and control a glamorous image of herself as an attractive woman who is losing weight. A persona she sabotages by lying about dieting, often while visibly gaining weight. She frequently is succumbing to the pathological need to relate anecdotes about her losing bowel control or having sex with homeless men. Chantel claims to have gained and lost about 40 pounds over her YouTube weight loss career. I mean, I'm trying to lose about 40 pounds at the moment. So I guess I can, now I have some inspiration to beat, right? She appears to have gained a large amount and her health has nosedived, leading many to doubt her. She lies and has always lied constantly, unconvincingly, and pointlessly about everything and everything. Just about anything she says, particularly about her health or her notions of success. It is implausible and inconsistent. She always was like this, but since an event in late 2018, more on that later, her dishonesty has become so extensive and so inconsistent in narrative that it is difficult for her followers to discern what or whatever events are transpiring. She will give readily many different accounts of a narrative which contradict themselves and each other, and which are so implausible that they weren't believed anyway. The departure of much of her sanity in late 2018, coinciding with the current doldrum in the Amberlynn Reid subforum. Now, I don't know about Amberlynn Reid. Who's that chick? It sounds familiar. Let me take a look at who's Amberlynn Reid. Who is this? Is Amberlynn Reid the woman who had like their mother? Is she the Mountain Dew? Am I right with that? I always get these names confused. I'm not very good with names, though. I think is that who it was? Amberlynn Reid? Okay, that's very rude. It's another fatty. It's not the Mountain Dew. Okay. Is Amberlynn Reid the one with the mother that's psycho and like looks out and tries to control everything about her daughter's life or something and their online image? So I got that wrong. Okay. She's the one that says you're a la. Okay. I'll have to look up on Amberlynn Reid later. She's got, what is it? Amberlynn Reid unhinged DoorDash guy update? What is this? Okay. Is Amberlynn Reid the one that I think that like Josh Moon talks about all these people, right? Is Amberlynn Reid the one that it's got to be one of these fat women. Okay. I've got to get this right eventually. Is she the one that is constantly shitting herself and gets like the female nurses to be like her girlfriends, and she gets them so that she can change her pants? Is that the one? I feel like that's the one. I feel like that's the one. I'll let the chat catch up and let me tell me. Clammy V with a 2 says the only time she lost weight was the hysterectomy. Oof. Shit. And Shah Muta says, heads up, don't mention the former boyfriend by name. Okay, he's known as a Koki. He's a habitual channel striker. Girl World Assemble. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is that the right? Is it? Yeah, Whippies. Okay, so I got it right that time. There we go. There we go. That's maybe a story for another day. I know a lot of these people like slightly, but not all very well. So let's see. Chantel only thinks in terms of immediate gratification, or in many such cases. This means, among other things, she's extremely lazy, spending all day lying in bed, binge eating, and obsessively monitoring a YouTube and Instagram comment section. Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. After all the above, at the same time, although often compared to Queen Death Fat, ALR, I don't know who that is. Like, I'm getting into a whole new genre here. Chantel crucially differs in her lack of self-awareness and her refusal to countenance any criticism. She doesn't intentionally troll viewers like ALR. Oh, that's Amberlynn Reid, of course. Now I realize that straight away. She's just as dumb as that crazy Chantel. Also accepts no accountability for actions and will delete any comment mentioning her and her broken promises. Let's see. These promises usually have to do with their diet. Okay, let's have a look at her vanity. Foodie Beauty, or so she calls herself, is very vain. Notwithstanding her repellent appearance, Chantel applies huge amounts of makeup, often just to sit around indoors, taking heavily doctored selfies for Instagram. She's bald. There is much speculation as to why. And she also applies black powder to it. What the fuck is black? To make it seem like the hair's there? Is that right? But her makeup skills are not good, and she's often unknowingly wears makeup intended for costume parties or drag queens. This just gets better and better. Regularly overlines her lips heavily and unevenly, like a clown. Chantel is never seen without heavy concealer on her face, and therefore actually affects not being wearing makeup. However, in the early 2019 video, she made a video without any cosmetics applied for real, and her frightening appearance indicated that she ordinarily does her hair and makeup even for 5 a.m. candid chimp out videos. The money and expensive makeup and various other frivolous purchases is covered by her channel income, but Chantel is known to cull money from her family and friends. And here's the alleged no makeup photo. to give you an idea. This is before she shaved her head. And I got to say that people make fun of my hairline, but I feel a little bit more confident about it today. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's not a good one. That's not a good. Maybe we should leave that one up while we talk about this. Maybe we should leave that one up. There we go. That's quite a difference. That's quite a difference. The hijab really is like the hijab does a lot of work, is what I'll say. I'll say that. Now where was I? Let's see. We'll skip down to why she's a cow. This is the important part. It's not because she's fat. Chantel is crazy white trash. She hates all men and all women. Her hatred of men is believed to stem from daddy issues. Her dad walked out when very, very young. And she's fond of telling stories where men lust after her. I've heard about some of them, but it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Despite that she hates them, though, they always somehow antagonize her. But Chantel gets the upper hand at the end like a flatulent Briar rabbit, like from Song of the South. Chantel wants men to be attracted to her, but sourly resents that they never are, and so resents men themselves. Chantel's hatred of other women in a similar vein stems from the envy of their superior desirability. All right, let's see. She's morbidly obese, but also thinks that her haters just want to make fun of her for her size. Her sky-high BMI is a symptom of her general failures and is incidental to her attainment value. What her cow appeal stems from is her titanic delusion. So that's a fun little word to use in this sentence. Her nasty disposition, her thirst for male validation, and her erroneous belief that she's smarter than everybody else. That's like a common trend, I think, with lolcows, is that lolcows never take criticism, and they never want to change. They never listen to any of their comments, and people, they're like, no, it's the children who are wrong. That seems to be the most common factor in all of these. But what do you guys think? Let's see. Chantel has a thread because she wants to be perceived as clever, attractive, successful, and a thin personality on the internet, and she's not going to let debilitating obesity, total solipsism, and subnormal reasoning skills, narc bitch tendencies, or a consummate estrangement from morality to get in her way. What's her education? Oh, we got a good one here. This is pretty good. Let's see. This is the new food pyramid. Abstinence, eating out, fast food, processed, trigger foods, chips, vegan, whole foods, plant-based. I don't think she's seen a plant in a while. I'm going to be honest. Being in Syria should be dead in a few weeks. Well, I think they literally said that there was gunfire going over. Chantel evidently finished high school and has completed a few units of a university degree in English literature, which she deferred and has exhibited no intention of completing despite this dropout. She often touts it as evidence of a successful past or as a viable alternative to YouTube. Let's see. So she went to the University of Ottawa. Let's scump down. Let's see. Chantel's people. Chantel doesn't get much out because she's unemployed, but at the dead end she occupies has a few other residents. She has 2 cats, Sam and Baby June. Now, I think, am I right in saying that one of her cats got adopted by somebody else, or is that Amberlyn Reid? Because I remember there was a story that I was watching on Maddie, and it was the cats got sent to a shelter, and then the A-logs went and got the cat, and then she was really mad about that. But I think now that she's in Syria, I think she's still got 1 cat. That's Foodie? Okay, good. That's good. All these kind of people look the same to me. So she has 2 cats. Bibi is, I think that was her black boyfriend. Oh, he's Senegalese manlet who was in a relationship with Chantel for about 8 years. There's her sister. I'm going to skim through some of these because I think this is kind of older things. Note on finances. This looks interesting. Reference to Chantel's finances in this post are nebulous because her finances are: she makes some money from her channel, but also spends exorbitant amounts of food and diet food and self-care products. She also claims to pay half the rent of her apartment. Well, I mean, I don't think so anymore. And runs a car. It has emerged that she has received money from the Pete's family, from her family in the past. But although she is never seen to face financial hardship despite her meager channel income, nothing conclusive has emerged about the state of this money. All right. Now, if I said that she had about 300,000 views per month, let me have a look. Okay, so she's got about 100,000. She's got about 1,000 videos, Is any of those coming from shorts? If that's always like a bit of a giveaway. If you see like the channel views going up, they've gone up recently, which is kind of good for her. I would estimate that she's probably making somewhere in the range of, because I saw that she does live streams, but I think she's only making like about $100 a live stream or something. So I would imagine that the majority of her income is from just vlog views, but her recent vlogs don't have that much views. The SYRIA one has 22,000, but that's 2 hours. That's not that much. So I would say that she's probably earning something in the range of, being generous, $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Although if you're eating half of it, that's quite a lot. Like I think she probably earns a little bit more than the A-logs think that she does. But I'm not sure because I've never really done any makeup or girl content, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'll have to try and look in that. The hijab does, or the hajib, I keep getting it wrong apparently. The hijab does what Stripes could only dream of. Yes, it's doing a lot of work. Now apparently, all right, let me see what this is. She doesn't need hajib. She needs nakib or burqa. Okay. Oh, I see. That's what she needs. Okay. I'll try and get this right. But honestly, to be honest, never mind. I should try and be a little bit normal. Yeah. All right. Let's see the cycle. This is the cycle. We'll take a look at this, and then we're about done. What I think with the background on this. So this is the Chantel cycle. The weight loss attempt is step 1. Weigh in at 360 to 370 pounds. It's like, isn't that like 160 kilos? That's insane. No, that's like closer to 180, isn't it? So the calorie counting and or new fad diet, cleanse, fast, or detox. Detox is one of my trigger words, I think, because there's no such thing as a fucking detox, okay? Like maybe if you have alcohol poisoning or nitrogen poisoning, you can detoxify your blood or something, but it's like the detox is the biggest fad word I've ever seen. It's 2. She's more like 200 kilos. Wow. Let's see. It'll work this time. I know my body. Forgetting all the time she's failed the exact same diet in the past. 30-minute videos lecturing her viewers on pseudoscience she's read from shady websites. Soft-spoken, healthy grocery hauls and mukbangs. BB will eat the rest of this. Gym vlogs and fantasies about being 120 pounds. Like this thing here, like this BB will eat the rest of this. This is true in so many relationships. Even in my own, I've been like, I'll buy this, and I'll only eat half of it. But then I always eat like 60, 80, or 100% of it. The breakdown is part 2. Community section purge. Video admitting she failed the diet has been binging off camera. Blaming everyone else for her own actions. I have a binge eating disorder that could a drug addict take drugs in moderation? Everyone expects my journey to be perfect. I was happier in 2017 filming mukbangs. Late, long night rants complaining about the haters. Talks about disabling comments if they don't start pandering to her. I mean, unironically, disabling the comments is probably not a bad idea. I remember Total Biscuit, even though he was very popular, was very vulnerable to the comment section. He actually disabled them on his videos, which he said was very good for his own mental well-being. Cycle 3 is the binge. Comments on video rating disabled. This isn't a weight loss channel anymore. It was always a weight loss channel. I'm done with diets. Forgetting she's nearing diabetes and immobility. Regular fast food mukbangs, off-camera binges. I can film mukbangs and still lose weight. I'll just count the calories. I doubt it. Drop in subscribers and view count. My loyal followers will always stick with me. I don't care. Can I get an estimate? Can I get an estimate? Of the people that watch her, what percentage do you think actually like her and are interested in the content versus how many people are haters? I would assume that it's probably something in the range of like 20% of the audience actually likes her and it's 80% is just looking for a hatership. Let me see. Stop involving me in drama, even though she's the one involving herself. And then the final stage is the awakening. Emotional video involving crying, admitting, and she can't go on like this. Comments re-enabled. Soft and vulnerable tone of voice. I'm going through a lot right now. Apologizing to people she's attacked and hurt, admitting it was wrong, and going back to filming mukbangs while dealing with BED. What is BED? Bed? What is BED? I assume it's like something disgusting. Talks of getting professional help and therapy. I'm not going to give up on myself. Starts planning a new diet, and then the weight loss attempt begins. People are saying 90%. 90%? That seems pretty high. Poll it? Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right, let me see. Let's see. How many beauty viewers like her? We'll say 20%. We'll say 40%. Oops, that's $40. 40%. Say 60% and 80%. There we go. I mean, there's always a certain amount of people that dislike you, right? There's always a certain amount. Oh, binge eating disorder. Thank you very much. There you go. There you go. I'm learning all the lingo now, guys. All right. I'll check if there's anything else that's interesting in her. I want to see the part. Holy shit. Hold on. You got to see this. This is a body type that could only exist in America, I think. And the thing that's funny about this is I saw this the other day. Where is it? So this is the baby body burger from Japan. This is a 1900 calorie burger. And I think this says it's like the Japan, it's approved by the Japan Sumo Association. And it's like meat and meat training session or something. This is the baby body burger. Like I'm curious, like, do you know how many baby body burgers it would take to actually eat this thing? It's got 5 layers of meat. It's got like Japan like makes this as a joke. But unironically, I don't even think I could finish this if I tried to eat it. But I think if you get, yeah. I'm not sure how many of those baby body burgers I have to eat to get the baby body. That looks good. Should I make the burger a goal? Should I make the burger a goal? Might be interesting. Maybe one day. I don't know. I feel like I would enjoy it. Let me see. So she lied. We'll go through this. Let's see. FAQ. Why doesn't Chantel... Oh, get the burger off the screen. She might get hungry if she sees it. Where is my picture for it? There we go. There we go. Why doesn't she get weight loss surgery? She wouldn't be approved for it. She can't stick to any diet for any amount of time. She has also fucked with the public health system around before, sabotaging her chances, and she can't afford to have it done privately. Why is Chantel fixated on veganism? When Chantel was 18, her mother sent her to a vegan camp called Catty Mavic. Yes, she's Canadian, yes. That's true. America is in North America. Canada is in North America. When she was forced to do physical activity and eat vegan food, resulting in the only substantial weight loss she's ever had, it's speculated that's why she's into veganism. Has she had any real-life consequences posted here? There is no confirmed post by Chantel, but a user named Manicunt made a very revealing post about her. Manicunt is how we know Chantel bullied her sister. Well, this is actually needs to be updated a little bit because there has been some consequences that have forced her to leave Kuwait. Has she ever been diagnosed with OCD, BPD, etc.? No legitimate disorders is known. What is her current weight? As of July 2020, that's 5 years ago, she claimed that she was just under 400 pounds. Is anything unproven true? No, she lies. And why does she seem like a glamorous influencer and then narrate nearly shitting on herself on camera? Why indeed? Good question. Good question. All right. I think that's what we need to know for the backstory. So, as of about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I remember watching one of Andrew's streams where he was talking about some updates about it. I knew that she lived in Kuwait, and I thought it's because she went to be with a man called Salah, who I thought was a Kuwaiti. Now, it has since been, I guess, revealed that Salah did not have a Kuwait visa, so it's likely he was either a migrant worker or more likely the both of them were, because I believe she got married. Well, she says that she's married, but like I'm not sure if there's any evidence that they are. Maybe it was just like a agreement marriage. There's like no legal body or anything. Who can say? He was born in Kuwait, but he's Syrian. Okay, so maybe Syrians don't get automatic Kuwaiti citizenship, or maybe they don't have any automatic citizenship there at all, which is actually the case for most countries, unless one of your parents is from that country. So I remember that they were traveling a lot, and the theory was that they were doing this because they were just rotating tourist visas. Also, he was born and raised in Kuwait, but to Syrian refugees. There you go. That makes sense. Then that makes sense. Okay. So as of about like I said, 2 weeks ago, there was like a kitten, and she stole the kitten off the street, and then she began fundraising for it. Now she's not This is not a legal thing to do. She has no affiliation with any charity groups. In fact, there was I believe, a Kuwaiti kitten rescue or cat rescue service that were very upset with her, and they were seeking law actions against her. Now, after this point, she fled back to Canada, and this was established because of the choice of the food that she was eating, because there was certain fast food that was available to her that would only be available in Canada. Now, the problem is, it seems that she has fled to Syria to once again evade any sort of repercussions or any actions or any consequences, but also to be with Salah. Now, she's very happy, allegedly, about this move. Now, in the update for this, where was this? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay. So let's see. She is with Salah and Julia. I guess Salah is guffawing in the background. Salah is saying they've been hearing bombs and missiles. There is no running water. Imagine the smell. Jesus Christ. She's saying it's fine because she has to rough it out. It sounds like a fun little adventure. She's marveling at the streets that they have olive trees, but no nashi trees. She says that she will be eating less. I mean, I'm going to put an extra doubt in the chat for that. There you go. I'm going to put an extra doubt there. She says, this is exciting. She said she had to show the marriage thing to even get here. Now, I think that no one has any proof that she's actually married, right? Because I think that like her actions would be illegal when they were in Kuwait if they were not officially married. I'm not sure though, because I'm not up to date with the Syrian or Kuwaiti law. But I guess they're alleging that that's the case. Now, this is the funniest part for me. This is very funny to me. They get a certain amount of electricity every day. Every 5 hours, they get 1 hour of electricity. Play the chat music. What's the chat music? Which one? Which one are you talking about? The power goes out often. They are using solar power. The grid is being rebuilt. It's economical. She's very excited about that. It's not what you guys think. Syria has the best healthcare in the world for the hour they get their electricity, maybe. So she's suffering over there. It's going to be hot. It's going to be dry. It's going to be smelly. I like chat music. Let me see if I can find this. Is there actually a Foodie Beauty chat music? Because chat music is really good. Chat music. Foodie? I'll see if this exists. I don't know if you guys are lying to me or not. Because I think I've seen all of the chat music. Or are you talking about a different one? Which one are you guys talking about? You gotta give me a link to this one, unless I mean, it reminds me of this one, but this is about a dude. Or do you mean the? This is the only one I can find, but it's not. This is not Foodie Beauty, but it is funny. So we will take a little quick chat music break, even though they'll probably get a copyright strike or something. I'll put it on 1.25, see if I can trick them.
Why does everybody ask me if I'm Latina? Isn't it obvious?
Actually, I've listened to this song many times, and this is my favorite one of the insults. There we go. If there's actually one that's actually, well, hold on a second. We can't just watch chat music. Although I will show you the guy that looks like the Snapchat logo. He's pretty good. It's probably one of the popular ones, right? This guy.
If you comment some horse shit,
he's built like the Snapchat logo.
I'm not gonna take you serious. If you comment some dumb shit, I'm not gonna.
The Mexican. All right. Back into. Okay, we're back into this. So she did like a 2-hour welcome, a Habibi come to Syria, and also driving in Syria. Now, as I understand it, this barbecue chilling is one of the guys that is apparently very good at condensing these into the good parts. So we might take a look at this, but it's like 30 minutes. There's also this one that's 5 minutes. Foodie driving around Syria. Let's take a look at this and see what's going on. This is by Piggy. Let me see if there's anything down here. We'll just check that. So there's a fair use disclaimer. This is the section yada yada of the copyright, etc., etc. I'm not sure clipping people's stuff is fair use commentary, but it's fine. Oh, maybe they do add commentary. I've never seen this channel before.
Hi. There aren't any lines on the road. Yeah, that's true.
So this is them. This looks like the part of Australia that I would not go to without a gun. I would not be happy. This is like the beautiful landscape that you've been moving to. Also, Jefferson C. Poe says, in America, bigger as well. It just is. Very true. Very true.
You just kind of have to imagine them.
Let's see. What is this? Did you check the warnings about what you can and cannot film? I think this is one of the things that she got in trouble for in previous countries, apart from the kitten thing, obviously. What are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going?
Yes, TM, I did. Oh, there's a few lines. Hey, Lan. I just thought I would do like a quick live. It's not going to be too long because, you know, just wanted to show you guys. We're just heading out somewhere.
Is she even allowed to drive in Syria? I'd assume so, but I wouldn't want to be pulled over.
Coming to PA, Paul? Well, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I'm halfway across the world, but I appreciate the invite. We're just enjoying the AC of the car. Hey, sweet love.
So there's no power at the house. The only way to get the AC is to go for a drive. What a life. What a life.
Yeah, I use my CPAP. Am I in it? Fugitive on the loose. I don't have...
Look at the brown sand here. It's very good for farms.
Now hold on a second.
I don't have...
Look at the brown sand here.
The brown sand here is very good for farms. If that's true, where are the plants? This is my first, like, I doubt it. Is it just because it's missing, like, you're gonna, oh, it's missing water or something? I don't know about that. I think if it was good for plants, if it was good for farming, there would be plants there. This is something that every time I see, like, India or something, or like one of these really hot countries where there's like nothing and roads for miles, like Australia, like the Western Australia is not good. Well, I mean, some parts are, but the desert is not good for growing plants. Exactly. Sand isn't soil.
Very good for farms.
Bitch, shut up.
Oh, yeah. It's rich in nutrients.
You to get vegetables, fruits easy.
Yeah. There's a ton
It's got
of
electrolyte. Exactly. It's got what the plants crave.
And vegetable stands. Hey, YouTube lover, are you living in a city? Yes, but we're heading somewhere else right now. So, yeah, this area, yeah. There's a lot of farm areas, and then there's the city, like Damascus. And... you gotta, like, move over, buddy. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, we're just heading to a different part of, we're driving around Syria, like the country area, and just thought I'd go live chat with you guys for a bit. I don't know, I'm going to be filming some things for another vlog. That was a little close. Yeah.
All right, so there's a comment saying that was a little close. And these are the live chat comments. Have you seen Salar's home yet? Please tell me she talks about the air conditioning and the power and everything.
Not yet, man. It's being prepared. Hey, Anel, are you going to get water? Well, I'm pretty thirsty, but I put French accent when I talk Arabic. Actually, there might be checkpoints up ahead. We did just...
Does she actually speak Arabic, though? Now, I think people tried to determine which way they entered the country. I think they said they had to enter through Jordan to use an ATM. So I think it's most... I think they're in Damascus, but I'm not entirely sure. But, like, do you think, like, Syria is a safe country to live in? Like, I mean, that's the kind of... Like, you just say, is it a good idea to go to Syria? And I think the common thing is just no. Like, you just immediately know that it's not going to be good. But I decided to ask Grok to see what Grok said. And let's see what he said. He says, as of 2025, Syria remains a high-risk destination for travelers due to ongoing security concerns. And despite some areas being relatively stable, that's not a good thing to say. The country has experienced significant changes in the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024, with the interim government being led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, controlling most of the western and central Syria, including major cities like Damascus, Aleppo, Homs, and Palmyra. Their areas are reported to be safer for tourism compared to previous years. What do you mean? It's safer, but not safe. With tourism infrastructure slowly recovering and some international airlines resuming flights to Damascus and Aleppo. However, multiple sources, including government advisories and international organizations, highlight persistent risks that make Syria generally unsafe for travel. Below is detailed assessment, and then there's key safety concerns: stabilized areas or terrorism threats, infrastructure problems. I mean, that's true. Risks to foreigners, kidnapping and detention. Foreigners faced a high risk of kidnapping for ransom or political motives, with past incidents targeting Western nationals, including tourists and journalists. Arbitrary detention by authorities or armed group is also a concern, with limited consul support available due to closure of most foreign embassies, including the US and British embassy. They don't even have a British embassy or a US embassy. It doesn't say anything about the Canadian one. It doesn't say anything about the game. Government surveillance. The interim government imposes strict controls, including monitoring of communications and restrictions and discussing politics. Travelers are advised to avoid sensitive areas of politics. So do you think she can keep her mouth shut? I really don't think so. Let me see. Travel restrictions. Entry requirements are stringent, with visas required for most nationals, although free on travel from some at land borders. I believe that's how she got in. She traveled in from Jordan. Travelers with evidence of prior travel to Israel may be denied entry. Checkpoints and travel permits are common, and unguided travel is risky, with reports and arrests of those venturing into restricted zones. Well, like, when was the last time that Salah was in Syria? Like, if he was raised as a refugee, first of all, his family fled from this country, but now he's returned as an adult. Maybe he's like, how much experience does he have actually living here? It sounds like it'd be very easy for him to just get in a lot of trouble very quickly. Let's see. 90% of Syrians live in poverty. 46% face food insecurity, contributing to social tensions and desperation. It's about to get worse. It's about to get much worse. The presence of unexploded ordinances, like bombs and bullets and things, and damaged infrastructure increase risk, particularly for children in rural areas. Healthcare is fragile, with 40% of facilities being non-functional, limiting access to medical care for travelers. Let's see, government and international advisories. The US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand governments maintain do not travel advisories due to risks of armed conflict, kidnapping, terrorism, and support. These advisories urge citizens to leave Syria by any means possible and to shelter in place during escalations. So there you go. It's not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably... Oh, maybe we should do it. Should we do Cringe Van Syria? That'd be fun. That'd be a bit fun. All right, let's continue. Oh, wait, what is this? What does I Am Werewolf says? Null, I'm going to expose these predator VTubers. Gets exposed for grooming minors while he was 19. Suffer Josh. What does this have to do with Foodie Beauty? I mean, okay.
Just pass somebody with like a bunch of guns. Yeah, I used my CPAP. We didn't run out of power until...
Wait, she needs a CPAP machine and they've got like 1 hour of power a day? She's gonna suffer she's gonna suffocate in her own blubber.
About noon, and then nobody has power right now. It seems like maybe if you have solar, but
look, maybe if they strap solar panels around her body, it might work.
we thought we had solar, but at the place we're staying, but it's not. It's another source. But we're not going to, invest in solar in a place we're not going to be staying at long term. So we just have to deal with the situation right now.
God, I hope that they get a camper van and just go across the wilds of Syria. Serengeti Syria adventure. That'd be fun.
As it is, I'm a celebrity. Well, I don't know about that.
All right, give me a 1 if you think yes and a 2 if you think no. Do you think that like YouTubers are considered celebrities? I mean, they're kind of like, maybe you get noticed in public, but would you call them celebrities? And in Foodie Beauty's case, I don't know. Like, she's got a very dedicated group of people, but I wouldn't call her a celebrity by any means of the imagination. I haven't seen a single one. I haven't seen a single one. It's all 2s. It's 2s all the way down. Depends on the tuber. I mean, I guess if you like Mr. Beast or something, perhaps. Mr. Beast is a celebrity. Chantel is not. Maybe not me. That's good. Like, I would rather go to the shops and not be recognized. That'd be great.
There's like aircon. It's like so nice. Like, you guys, like, thanks, Keeper of the Homestead. Being hot makes you so tired. Hey, Lily, not staying long term. You scare your passport will be flagged. What? Flagged for what? Saber, no power for 5 hours, just the solar. Yeah, we don't have solar right now at this one place we're staying, so.
So they have no power, and furthermore, like solar, unless you've got like a really good battery for it and you've got a lot of solar powers, it's not going to keep the aircon or the CPAP machine going through the night. That's a big concern. I remember when I was a child, I remember having brownouts in like Sydney and stuff. That was kind of fun. It was kind of like you know, the family gets together, you get the candles out, you have a little bit of a camp or whatever. You know, you roast marshmallows. Yeah, it can be a bit fun. It can be a bit fun. But like the last time I went to a town that actually had rolling blackouts, I think that was like El Nido in the Philippines. It was a lovely town, but it would just like the power would go out for like an hour every night. Lovely beach destination. Couldn't recommend it more. Great little beach trips you can do and boat trips, and you go and you eat crabs. There's geckos everywhere. It's fantastic.
This picture is weak after many years of war. No.
Let's see. Was the church that was bombed in Damascus last week near you? So there is bombing in the cities. And I mean, Salah was talking about hearing missiles and things as well.
It's not near us, Pondu. Hey, Cleo. Am I going to prepare a meal? Well, don't know. Maybe whenever we get to his house. I'm a brave woman. I don't know yet, Nubby. What kind of car? You can see the... I don't know if I should say, but you can see the thing. Calculator's my computer the problem. No, my reception is.
Yeah, I went to El Nido. It was really good. I kind of had like a week off for Christmas one year, and it was freezing in Japan. So I had a look at the flights, and there was a really cheap. I think the entire trip for like 2 weeks was like $1,000 return flight as well, and everything I spent and everything was great. I flew over to Manila. I hated it. I think I've never hated a city more than Manila. Then we flew out from Manila to Palawan, and we stayed in Porto Princesa for like 3 days. That was really good. They have delicious banana bread there. But I was like, it was kind of funny because like they have like the tuk-tuks or the trikes or whatever, the little, you know, the 3 themed motorcycles. And I thought those were scams. So for the first like week, I didn't use one of them at all. And I walked from the airport to my hotel through like the bad part of town. And there was like chickens everywhere. And it looked like those like kind of looked like this actually, but with houses and stuff. And everyone kind of had a bit of a giggle at me because I refused to pay the 50 cents to get the free ride, not the free ride, but the basically cheap free ride to the hotel. And it was over Christmas, so there was like nobody there too. It was really good, but it was the weather was really good. Then we took a 6-hour bus up to El Nido and stayed there for a week, and it was great. And then rented a motorcycle and got in a crash. That was fun. And then I went swimming the next day, and I was in pain because the salt water was in my wounds. But I saw some sea turtles and I saw some of the clownfish, and we had a great time. It was great.
Well, you must love your man so much. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. A lot, obviously.
Oh, they're running out of internet. Yes, I am. I mean, I didn't have any broken bones or anything. It was just the flesh wounds, basically, on my legs and arms. It was fine. Jefferson C. Post says, Alice Springs isn't the breadbasket of the Australia. I don't know. I've never been to Alice Springs, actually. That's like close to Uluru, right? That's in the middle of Australia, but I've never been there. Oh, wait, is it? I thought Alice Springs was in the middle of Australia. Alice Springs. No, it's like in the middle of the thing, right? Yeah, it's like right in the middle. I was right. Hey, isn't salt water good for your wounds though? I felt like that was like it hurts because it's healing, right? It's like when you rub salt in the wound. I think isn't that a good thing? You're not allowed to go by Uluru anymore. I know a Japanese person, and she was the last person to ever go up Uluru. Like just before they closed, the Aboriginals got very mad about it. They took 5 minutes off getting Rama Rama to ban everyone from going up on the big rock, and she was like the last person to go up. So Japanese people love Uluru. Alrighty. So that's kind of the foodie beauty stuff. There's this 30-minute video, but I think unless there's some like really good timestamps, I think I'll kind of give it a miss. Let's see. Them laughing about the missiles overhead. All right, I want to hear about this. We'll hear about this. If anyone knows if there's good timestamps, let me know. Missiles. All right, let's see. All right, here we go.
Yeah, it's a lot safer.
Okay, so it's a lot safer. It's a lot safer.
Mashallah than it was.
I was watching the rockets and
The missiles.
yeah, and the aircrafts. The missiles. On top of me.
Did Julia watch with you? Did Julia watch the missiles with you?
Not when it's like,
So this is like the regular content. The cat is like standing right next to the fan because it's fucking hot, and they're just like, yeah, we just watched the missiles. It's like a little fireworks show.
So.
Like imagine you lay down, look at the sky, you see the missiles and the sound of the aircrafts going to bombing the other.
Well.
Hold on a second. Call it Ayers Rock, I dare you. I mean, that's what it was called when I was a kid.
No, I see. There's, because of the power, like, so Syria, because you guys know, long history of, it's a war-torn country, so they're just starting to rebuild. U.S. left sanctions on Syria 2 days ago. I know.
Let's fucking go. Syria's sanctions have been lifted 2 days ago. A great place to start a life. Excellent.
Thank you, Yoma. So they're rebuilding their infrastructure, including electricity. When I first got here, you know, so I was like, there's no water. Like, we needed to refill water tank and stuff like that. So it's very different from the West, but it's a different way of life. It's not necessarily worse to me. Like, honestly, guys, I've been so spoiled my whole life. I'm like, if I have to rough it, like, whatever, you know, like, I think it'll be healthy for me, honestly. Like, I've already done more exercise in, like, you know, a couple days of traveling here and then being here that I ever had.
All right, hold on a second. Where is that Chantel cycle? So she said that she's already losing weight, and okay, so we're in step 1 right now, right? Am I gauging this correctly? She's talking about how she's going to be losing all that weight and shit. So the next one is going to be the breakdown. Okay, we're going to look forward to that in like a week or 2.
Like, you know, so Canada advisory, avoid all travel. When do I ever do what I'm told to do? Okay, but I'm a rebel. No, I can't act like I'm in Canada here, but all along the streets, we were walking back to our house. Olive trees, like with olives on them. Like, I can't believe it. Hi, Vanessa.
Olive trees.
It's just olives, like really beautiful olive trees.
Zaytun.
If I have a health issue, I mean, I think honestly, I'll be more active, eating less. There's no fast food here. There's no such thing as a fast food chain here. I mean, Pepsi is not great, but honestly, I haven't eaten in like a million.
There being no fast food may be a good thing. The Uber Eats guy being shot down in the street might be a good thing for losing weight, but the fact that she has access to Pepsi, I can tell you she's not losing weight. All right, let's see if there's any other good comments here. She probably shouldn't refer to herself as a rebel in Syria. Did she actually say that? I mean, the government's like watching her. Let me see. All right, what is this?
I do what I'm told to do, okay? But I'm a rebel. No, I can't act like I'm in
Canada. Oh, okay. So she's saying it like in the Western way, like I'm a rebel. I see. Again, that could be taken pretty badly. But like the people like this, they have so many people that are just looking for ways to mess with them that, like, if she says anything weird, you guarantee you that people are going to be contacting or sending emails or whatever to anyone that could cause damage to her life. So you got to be careful with your words over there. It's like you don't have any freedom of speech in these countries. I'm sorry, you don't. What? Oh my god. She didn't say this, did she? Oh, no bidet, which is a minus for me. But a country with civil war, it's not as bad as people think. Girl, you don't have running water? Never mind a bidet. Oh dear. It's going to get bad pretty quickly over there, I think. Alrighty. Hold on, check Discord. All right, I'll have a look. What is this? Oh, cool. That's good news. All right. Hold on a second. See if there's any other things of this. No access to money, no access to fast food, no electricity or AC. Good luck. I mean, I think that at least she's got like an upbeat positivity so far. Like her personality seems like is this just the face that she puts on for every video? If you make $81 a month, $7 for water isn't affordable. 250 euros is a freaking fortune. She's about to be surprised. Being in Syria and saying they're not as strict here. Oh no. Oh no. What is this? A woman told her she does not feel safe in her own country, and Miriam ignores the warning. Is Miriam her name? I thought her name was Chantel. Let's see. The honeymoon phase isn't going to last long. She'll be pissed, miserable, and crying in no time. So much for Canada. Oh, so much for where Canada is where I belong. Anything else? What is this? Salah laughing.
They were, my mom was like worried, like you, because
wait a second. Put this back to regular speed for a second.
Food tour of Syria. My family was really shocked. My mom was like worried, like you, because
it's almost like a goofy laugh. Oh dear. All right, I think that'll be it for the girl world section. We'll move on, I think, to the PirateSoftware stuff next. Let me see. Let me see. I read this one. She's not a barrel. Oh, she's a barrel, not a rebel. That's a good one. Billy Oki rejoined as a member. And he says, "I don't know why, but YouTube canceled my membership." Good time to check. You may have canceled your memberships by accident. It may be because I had to change over my monetization settings a couple days ago. Let me see. She tried Miriam as a name. Oh, I see. But it didn't stay for long. Her YouTube 100K plaque originally said this. Oh, interesting. We got the deepest lore from Sharmuta. Okay. Looks like an avid beauty fan. So, all right. So now that we've got Foodie Beauty on the board, if anything really funny happens to her, now I feel like I can cover her and we don't have to go through all the backlog. But this seems promising. I'm very interested to see how this turns out for her. All right. Let's switch over now to PirateSoftware. We've got a nice little meme for you here. Okay. Nice little meme for you here. I had to change monetization? No, I chose to change monetization changes. It was fully my choice. All right. What do we see here? What do we have here?
Hi there. Would you like to sign my petition? Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
There we go. We got the PirateSoftware segment. Now, PirateSoftware is not having a good time. He's not having a good time at all. If you may remember, why is there a picture of... Okay, he posted a picture of an owl. Found this dude out... I mean, this is a cool photo. Found this dude outside. Odd to see an owl at this time of day, but he was uninjured and flew off when approached. I mean, I'm kind of envious. I wish I had owls at my house. But you may remember that the StopKillingGames. Now, I believe that the petition is almost to 100,000. I mean, I got a link which says it's 4,000 posts away. If I refresh this for a second, it's not working now. Hold on a second. Now it's at 0%. I assume it's. I don't know. I'll go by this. I'll go by this picture. Maybe it's being overwhelmed with the flood of support. There we go. Now, StopKillingGames was an initiative to basically stop developers from bricking their games not after their life cycle ends, like a typical single-player game that doesn't matter because you can always just reload a single save file, or you can use, just reload from the disk or whatever. But like you have these online games, and a lot of even some single player games have online activation. Things like StarCraft 2 is typically a multiplayer game, but there's no ability to play it offline. And it may be at this point, but when it first came out, you literally could not play the single player campaign if you didn't have a connection to the internet. And this is really stupid. And a lot of people get very upset because if you buy a game, you should have the game. We don't want to be in the future where you have nothing and you own nothing and you'll be happy about it. No, that's not what we want. So this petition is made by Accursed Farms, and he's campaigning for this in the EU. Now this is almost certainly going to hit the goal. So can we hit it? And etc. But I believe it's already been reached in the UK, which is a good first step. Now, this was dead in the water until about a month ago, I think. It was stuck at about 500,000 subscribers, and it was going nowhere. Now, PirateSoftware, a man that is perhaps... I want to... Where's the big boy there? There we go. Hold on, I'll get rid of this one. We'll go back to this. I got a picture of PirateSoftware. PirateSoftware, he's had one of the biggest falling outs, or the biggest exposures, basically. Like he's the man that ruined his career faster than almost anyone else. And until he talked about this, basically it was going to die. But because he was so frustrating, and because he was such a cunt, and because he was like, this is bad, and this is definitely going to kill the games, guys. Like, don't you guys like developers anymore? Because of that, the reverse Streisand effect, I guess, has catapulted this petition to over 400 or just about 1 million subscribers. 1 million signatures was what it needs. Now, if you're in the EU listening to this, then you should definitely go sign it if you haven't, because 1 million isn't really the goal. It needs to be a bit higher because a certain amount of the votes will be removed due to improperly signing up. Is I believe Accursed Farms talks about this in his video. But this is very funny. And PirateSoftware is going through a bad time. And he's kind of like a guy that people love to hate. I will say that some people are being a little bit unfair on some of the details because people were saying like that his game Heartbound had always online DRM, which is not true. At least, it's not even finished, so I'm not sure why he's complaining about it. Because he needs to actually go there and finish it. But I'm trying to find if he's got any things talking about. He's talking about mushrooms. He's got a bunch of Cope posts. Here we go. There we go. These are the Cope posts. But he did use Steam achievements as a way for save files, and I believe one of his previous games. I want to say it was Champions of Breakfast. And that was like a clever way they implemented DRM, is because if you didn't have a connection to Steam, then your save file wouldn't load because you had to have achievements on Steam to save your progress. That's the way it worked, which is kind of smart, honestly. But people have kind of been misrepresenting him a little bit, I will say, so to play devil's advocate. But we got some news. First of all, Off-Brand Games is doing great. Sorry, not Off-Brand Games. Accursed Games is doing great. The United European Citizens Initiative is almost certainly going to pass at this point, which is great because I think in the last 3 to 4 days, a bunch of people started talking about this. We had Moist Critical was talking about how much of a cunt PirateSoftware was. You had Josh Strife Hayes coming out as well, and now PewDiePie. I want to say PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye. A lot of these like kind of big channels have started saying like this is important too. And recently PewDiePie has been also talking a lot about his movement to get away from sort of companies like Google or Windows, and he's getting into Linux and he's setting up his own servers and things like that. It's all so it's all kind of in his niche now. So this is like probably the push that was needed to make it go through. And it's all I believe, and it's my personal belief, that if PirateSoftware was not an insufferable cunt, this never would have happened. Like this petition would never have reached this goal at this point. This success of this is almost completely due to the fact that he was bad at World of Warcraft because he left his team to die. He roached out, and that started this chain of events that now, because he didn't use his mana gem, gaming is going to be saved. So pretty funny, actually. Pretty hilarious. But we got bad news on the PirateSoftware front. He says, I am no longer working at Off-Brand Games. Now, Off-Brand Games, as I understand it, was a business venture between him and Ludwig. Ludwig is kind of a guy that's been described as he's the guy in a zombie movie that would hide his infection. Like if he's getting bitten by the zombie, he doesn't tell you until he turns. That's the kind of guy that Ludwig is. Now, this is one of the reasons that PirateSoftware was against this initiative in the first place, is that Off-Brand Game was working with live service games. So PirateSoftware is actually financially tied to this bill being unsuccessful. But he says, I am no longer working at Off-Brand Games. And he likes to say, like, well, I was only employed there for $1 or something. Well, obviously he's going to make more than that because that's what all the CEOs and things do, is they always put their own salary as like $1. That's like such a sneaky thing to do. People are attacking me and all the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb. I will say that review bombing them is kind of like a lame move. Don't do that. Try and be honest about the game itself. You can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged. I mean, the thing is that software is just unhinged in general. Learned a lot there, accomplished a lot. Hope they succeed regardless. Love these dudes and love working with them. Hope they keep cooking. So we're having a bad time. For those who say that this was all somehow a lie, the abuse was across socials, people on Discord, Reddit and Twitter, and some reviews on Steam. Indie games are fragile things, and attacks like this hit hard. Overall sentiment was to bash the games and the developers working on them to try and get back at me. Not worth bringing them down, in my opinion. Also, stop it. Get some help. What is this? There's PirateSoftware rage crits, harmful opinions. I guess we could take a look at that. I guess we could take a look at this. What is this? I got a couple other things. All right, maybe we'll take a look at this. Harmful opinions. Is it like 10 minutes maybe? I wanted to see this one though. PirateSoftware, beautiful. Got banned just for this. This guy really has a fragile ego, it seems. So this is PirateSoftware's stream. He appears to be playing. I guess this is maybe Death Stranding 2. This person is banned from chat. So what do you think got this person banned from chat? Their last comment, their only comment was, let's see. It's not about that. It's about Fred. It's about a failure. This is the comment they said that got them banned. It's not about that. It's about a failure to understand an initiative. So we literally just said, I disagree. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. And you were banned. Now, PirateSoftware, when he was doing the World of Warcraft thing, he banned like 3,000 people in his chat. So like anytime you have any criticism, he's trying to cultivate this idea that he kind of knows everything. And I think this is a thing that a lot of people have a problem with. Is when you act like a know-it-all, when you act like you've got this sort of insider knowledge, people get very frustrated with you. It's like that kid that tells you that he's seen this movie before it's been released, or his dad works at Nintendo or something. And unironically, PirateSoftware's father works at Blizzard, or used to work at Blizzard, which is very funny as well. But he's just kind of a nepo baby. He's like holier than thou attitude, tells you that you're wrong and refuses to budge. There was a very funny clip of him where he's talking with that the guy that got Reckfield killed, and he's just like, when I talk to you, PirateSoftware, I get this feeling that you're just you can't take any criticism. And then Pirate's like, well, actually, you're wrong about that. So very, very true, very true. What is this one I got here? Oh, I already read that one. Don't need that. I got this video, but I was going to watch this video by parts of this video by Belia. But all right, I'll defer that to harmful opinions. I'll see. I'm going to trust you on this. This better be good. But harmful opinions is usually pretty good.
I am no longer.
Well, that's like really loud. Hold on a second.
Longer working at off-brand games, says PirateSoftware. People were attacking all of the games we were.
This is harmful opinions, and he's just reading the tweet that we just read. So I'll skip past that part until we get to the commentary. There we go.
It's unhinged. Oh man, let's check out the carnage, because off-brand games are extremely vulnerable to that kind of attack right now. See, as far as I can tell, they've got 3 products on Steam right now, and 2 of them are only available in the form of a free demo, with an independent demo page each. What this means from the perspective of someone who wants to review bomb their games, get together with other people or use bots, there are soft targets to deface. Because with the demo, the only barrier is downloading it, running it for a bit, and then you're allowed to leave a review. You don't have to pay anything. See, I downloaded Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time demo, and now I can leave a review. I'm not going to, and you shouldn't either, but it's right there. And for anyone who wants to hit all their games.
I mean, I'm going to say this, like, don't review bomb. I think that someone in the chat said that review bombing is a cope and that, like, it doesn't really happen. It does to a degree. It does to a degree, but it's not as big an issue as people say it is. Like, if it's something like Assassin's Creed Shadow, like the review bombs didn't really make that much of a difference. It wasn't. I think it was like a mid game. Like, it was like a 5 out of 10 basically from most people's unbiased opinions on that game. But yeah, don't harass the game or anything.
It's effortless. So with review bombers targeting all their products, this is going to be oh, it's literally received 1 negative review ever, and that was in January. So there are others.
Well, it's a pretty good argument though for review bombing being nothing.
Soft target with a free demo.
Just watch it. That's not going to happen. I'm going to pause it like every 5 seconds or something. I'll probably pause it twice as much now. But no, like there have been review bombs for Heartbound. In fact, I'm going to bring this up just to have a look. Where's my Steam? Let me see. If I search for Heartbound, I mean, Heartbound probably should have a lot of bad reviews because it's not been released and it's been in development for like 7 years. But if I go to the reviews, let me see. Where are they? Similar games. Is this game relevant to you? Verified. I'll let it play while I look for the review part.
Oh, Aethermancer. That must have been defaced with a review bomb, right? Not exactly. Okay, so the other game that's actually out, Rivals of Aether 2, and Ludwig, who I believe is a founder of
Yeah, here we go. So if you look at Steam, you can see that it's now overwhelmingly negative. And if you look at the graph, you can actually see that it has occurred here. So I'll try and make this larger for you by bringing it into the old Prime Lab. But I mean, oops. Here we go. You can see that it absolutely has in the last week or so has got a large influx of things. Now, is Pirate Software lying about the review bombing on the games specifically for off-brand games? It seems so based on what Harmful Opinions is saying. But for Heartbound in particular, this is absolutely true, with 241 negative reviews coming in. Now, like I said, he probably should have finished his fucking game rather than just play Dune all day. But to say that nobody is review bombing me is not entirely accurate. All right, let's go back to this. I'll play it back a bit so we get the full context of this.
Not exactly. Okay, so the other game that's actually out, Rivals of Aether 2, and Ludwig, who I believe is a founder of Off-Brand Games, said for sure that one is being review bombed. Such a bummer Rivals 2 is getting any shit. People are now review bombing the game. The now deleted tweet he was quoting doesn't seem to call for such a thing, but maybe people underneath it were saying they were gonna. And he confirmed today that the games they support have been getting review bombed. So we're looking for mass negative reviews of Rivals of Aether 2 that are not about the game, or are obviously not really about the game, even if they pretend to be. That's going to be way harder to bomb because there's a price tag on it. Are people bombing it somewhere else, like on Metacritic? No, 3 negative reviews ever. So Rivals of Aether 2 has been review
No, leave it on for now. We'll see how much I can get away with.
Bombed on Steam. I have to ask,
make a chat
where?
smaller, though,
We want to see
so
a
the
big
deal's
old
smaller.
red spike. Where is it? In the month of June, the most negative reviews it got in a day
Oh, now I fixed
was
it. I fixed the
6.
pane.
As far as I can count, less than 10 have
Just scroll
anything
up
to
for a
do with
bit.
Pirate Software or StopKilling
It's too funny.
Games. But there aren't even enough.
But yeah, if we go back to this,
Can count less. The most negative reviews it got in a day was 6. As far
yeah, that may be true. But then again, if we look at the Heartbound in particular, and that's the game that he's most known for, I guess. Even though I think that Heartbound is an incomplete game, I believe Champions of Breakfast is actually a completed game, and it's basically the only game, that his studio, his team worked on, really.
as I can count, less than 10 have anything to do with Pirate Software or StopKillingGames. But there aren't even enough negative reviews in total that if they were all about that, it could be called any kind of review bomb. But of course, because Ludwig said it was being review bombed, people went on to counter that. One user's recommendation reads, "Game is getting review bombed for some blank that ain't even true, Lamau."
Positive, like, review love bombing is also very stupid. Now, Pirate Software is very good at mobilizing his audience, and he does have like a very diehard group of, I believe, around 8,000 people that watch him on basically every day on average. And if you can get like even a fraction of those people, like 10%, that's 800 people, that can really shift the needle on all of these things.
Ironic. When I originally tweeted my skepticism of the review bomb, something became clear. People heard about the bomb, went to the page, saw it was on Mixed, and seemed to have thought it dropped down to 50% because of this review bomb. The #1 post about review bombing in their subreddit talks about it dropping to 52% after this review bomb. But that is actually intensely misleading. So we do know a little while before the SKG-related reviews, it was on 60%. They're right about that. And on June 26th, post-bombing, it was down to 52%.
Now, this is the game. This is the Ludwig / Pirate off-brand games one. That's a live service. I think it's like a kind of like a Smash knockoff or something like that.
They're right about those numbers, but there's something they're ignoring. It was 60% of 155 reviews, and then 52% of 121 reviews. This is because, of course, recent reviews is a 30-day window. The video that pissed everyone off dropped on June 23rd. So, what was Rivals of Aether 2's 30-day average the day before? 24th May to 22nd June, inclusive. 30 days.
All right, so yeah, basically everything that Pirate does is very slant. Even like, I think Heartbound, it's like the boy and his dog, but there's a little bit sus. Pirate is a furry. He used to have a fursona in what is it called, Second Life 2, and they would sell furry skins and which were modeled like sexualized skins that were modeled by minors. So it's very sus sort of past. This was his fursona, the Maldavius fig tree that some people refer to him as, and he runs a ferret rescue, which is a little bit concerning. It sounded wholesome at first, but then I learned more about him. I'm like, oh wait, no, never mind.
Using the archives to count day by day. By my maths, there were 130 reviews in that period, 72 of those being positive. That gets you 55% positive the day before Ross's video. So the claim is, that video got your review bombed, and your recent average dropped 3% by the 26th. Not much of a bomb, is it? But it gets worse. If we shift that window 3 days, so we're looking at the 27th of May to the 25th of June, the day before the positive counterbomb, you lose 2 negative, 3 negative, and 3 negative, which is 8. In the days that replace those when the window moves, you got 4 negative, 1 negative, and 3 negative, which is also 8. But in those 3 days you lose from the window shift, you lose 2, 3, and 7 positive reviews, which is 12. And it's replaced by days where you got 2, 2, and 1, which is 5. A decrease of 7. Advanced maths, I know. Which dumps you down to 123 total, 65 of which are positive, landing you at just below 53% positive. The recent review percentage went down because you got the same number of negatives, but less positives. That ain't a bomb. Let's take a peep at PirateSoftware's self-published.
It's a pretty convincing argument, honestly. One thing I really like about Harmful Opinions is like he's very thorough, and I don't know where he finds the time to do it all, because like he streams. He might be streaming. If he's streaming today, I'll restream to him because I quite like him. But his streams are always like unlisted, I think, so there's no way I can find them. But he does like a stream like I think every other day or something, and then he puts out like basically a video every day or every other day. And he does really good research too, and his analytics is really good. I honestly, is underrated channel. 500. He deserves more than 500,000 views. If you're not subscribed to him, you should definitely go check him out. He's got a much better voice than PirateSoftware too.
Game now that
his streams are on a playlist. Well, okay. I can't see any upcoming streams though. I think he streams like an hour or two after I stop streaming.
Is what a bomb looks like. Fair few of the new ones have barely any playtime, but that can be explained by the game itself, and they just talk about PirateSoftware's takes. Maybe he has a legit grievance there, but this isn't off-brand published. Rivals of Aether 2, now apparently some have been deleted, but I cannot find more than 10. I can't even find 10. 10 reviews that are clearly not actually about the game. Now when you get really bombed, Steam steps in and drops one of these. That hasn't happened here, and you can
Wait, what is this?
Not actually about the game. Now when you get really bombed, Steam steps in and drops.
Period of off-topic review activity detected, excluded from reviews scored by default. I've never seen this before. Okay, that's interesting. That's good to know. Reviews for Crime Box, Rocky City.
One of these. That hasn't happened here, and you can still take that filter off if you want. Plus, on Rivals, reviews that are just talking about Moldavius are still there. I would suggest that there is zero evidence any kind of bombing happened. Just a minuscule number of annoyed people. Not even enough to change the 30-day negative review quantity until you hit the 26th, which is the day the massive counterbomb happened. And all 6 of those negative reviews are from people who put substantial time into the game and are talking about the game. One guy who's...
All right, I want to take a look at this. Hold on a second. I'm going to look at this on the other side. It was Champions of the Aether, was it?
Played it for 40 hours, went out of his way to say, yeah, he knows about the PirateSoftware stuff, it annoys him, but this ain't about that. Even though there's content in the game that was used to promote and fundraise for PirateSoftware's ferret rescue. I didn't know about that financial connection, but I checked and it is absolutely true. If there's anything I'll give PirateSoftware a big thumbs up for, it's rescuing animals. But in those reviews, that's the only mention, and one weirdo just pasted the about section. But from all that I've seen, PirateSoftware's statement about why he's stepping down doesn't exactly strike me as real or true. And it absolutely stinks of face saving and fear of what might happen in the future, rather.
I mean, when I look at the Rivals of the Aether, or Rivals of Aether, it is overwhelmingly positive. In the last, like, did he get the review removed? Wait a second. Like, this is crazy, actually. These analytics are insane. Like, did they get all the negative reviews deleted? It's 4 negative, 1 negative, 3 negative, 1 negative. 190 reviews, and it's like 95% review. That's like a 95% positive. That's insane.
Than anything that really has. Little bit like that unlawful.
Like, I mean, even in a game, even in a regular game, you would expect something in the range of like, you know, maybe 60 to 70% positive. Like if that's really sus to see something that, unless it's like Factorio, I think that's like 90% overwhelmingly positive. Like that's kind of crazy, actually.
CA claim. Feel free to prove me wrong, but I did my usual digging and didn't find shit. He did say trying to mass review bomb them, so maybe there's evidence of a terrible plot. But be forewarned that some screenshot of a dipshit in a Discord isn't going to cut it for me, especially when they aren't competent enough to even hit your free demos. You don't quit your passion job over that. Maybe he should focus more on something he's good at, being a sacrificial lamb. Blows himself up fighting SKG, signatures go through the roof. Gets hated on a little bit in a tiny dusting of negative reviews. Positive reviews go through the roof, and the game gets put on a nice 30% sale. Maybe
I have heard that there's a conspiracy theory that like PirateSoftware knew that everyone hated him and then decided to go against StopKillingGames as a sacrificial move. That's obviously just like a funny conspiracy theory that has no reality and basis in reality. But it is fun to talk about, right? It's a little bit fun to talk about.
I'll pick it up. Don't have much time, but I loved the first one. Oh, the video was going to end here, but stop the press. PirateSoftware has given an update, I just noticed. For those trying to say this is now somehow a lie, The abuse was across socials, people on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, and some reviews on Steam. Oh, so you know it wasn't review bombed. Abuse and whatever, sure, horrible. That ain't all you said, though. Indie games are fragile things, and attacks like that hit hard. Overall sentiment was to bash the games. Very different to people actually review bombing it or trying to review bomb it, as you said. You know that didn't happen. You said it did. What's that called? People were trying to review bomb it? How do you review bomb? You get the game, run it for a bit, leave a review. If you want to be really nasty, I think you can refund. Maybe they plugged that up, though. People were trying to do that, but what, they couldn't find the store page? They went to pay and, oh shit, I don't have $20 or whatever. Did not happen. And the sentiment was also to bash the developers' work.
All right, what's it? For those that oh, we read this one before, actually.
On them to try to get back at you. That's horrible. Too bad you also said other things. Saying thing B and that being legit doesn't erase bullshit A you spoke. He did this with the Stop Killing Games stuff, remember? Hey, I didn't lie. Here are the things I said that are true. Ignoring the thing people are saying is a lie. And this time something more's happened. A review bomb has morphed into people bashing it on other platforms and there being some reviews. You threw out a heavy accusation of a very specific kind of conduct. Ludwig did as well, but that's not your fault. And Off-Brand, and a game they published, has reaped the rewards. The uptick in positive reviews that Rivals of Aether has been enjoying to this day is not because people were being mean on Reddit, it's because they were told the game got review bombed. Did it? Because you've repeated that, your sacrifice is somewhat in vain. Your stink's still attached. It's going to smell like you for a while.
Great, great video. I was unaware of that stuff with the review bombs there. So, good stuff again. I'm going to continue. We're going to talk about the Brian Kohberger stuff, but I'm going to turn off my camera for the rest of the stream. Okay. So I'll be right back. I'll play a short clip. Be right back. Play this for a quick 2-minute break. Or 2 minute break.
Did you hear me? It is tax-free. My Zannies, my hookers, my super chats too. Hit that button, cause every single super chat I got it tax-free. Tax-free. Take out your pill bottles, shake your pills, shake your pills, because it's gonna be tax-free. Tax-free, tax-free. Tell your wickers that we got it. Tax-free in my little tin shack. Cats flying in tornadoes. Gun flopping up and down. Let's get the guns out. Gun, 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 gun. Shake it around when it's tax-free. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. It's a tip, so it's tax-free. But wiggle. You best not fold the bullshit, because these super chats, they all tax-free. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yo, Faith, don't make me say it. Squeeze. Child support, Faith, it's tax-free. Compass Sneed, cause it's tax-free. That's right, bitch. Now kiss my Gucci hat, I said kiss it. It's authentic, bitch. It's time to gun out. Shake your gun like you mean it. Squeeze. Welcome to the kill spree. This song. Wiggle, wiggle. What you mean I'm drunk? I'm sober, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Maybe one more. So take out your pill bottles and shake your pills, and wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. It's a tip, so it's tax-free. But wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle!
Alrighty, we are continuing now. I'm going to take a little look at this Belia video because I want to see about what he says about... So Belia is like, he's a guy that talks, he's like a British lad that talks about Warcraft typically. But he did this video the other day. StopKillingGames was doomed, and now it can't be stopped as of 18 hours ago. I'm going to skip the majority of this video because he kind of covers the entire situation. The Saver appears, the StopKillingGames movement, renewed attention, the final video, Make Love Not Warcraft. We'll skip that. I want to see this part about can it succeed and the potential impacts. And we'll get through that, then we'll get through the Brian Kohberger stuff. Although, like I said, I'm going to keep my camera off for the rest of the stream. All right, let's see. So can it concede?
We've went from almost certain failure at 454k signatures to, at the time of writing this video, 714k, and at the time of recording, which was only a few hours later, 737k.
I mean, this is absolutely going to reach the goal. Can we hit it, etc.? Because I think that, like, what was it? It's only 4,000. It's only 4,000 votes away. There's no way that this does not succeed at this point. The question to me, not so much can it reach the 100,000? Oh, sorry, the 1 million, minus whoever's going to be removed from it because of the eventual removal of fraudulent or people that incorrectly signed this, which is one thing that Accursed Farms talked about. I'm more interested to see, can it succeed as for its actual goal? But yes, gamers rise up, etc.
That basically
Let's
means
go.
that they need 263k in about 30 days. And obviously, if this rate holds just a little bit longer, they'll absolutely make it. Or will they? Because here's the thing.
They will.
They do actually need consistent, legitimate signatures. The reason why is fairly simple. Fake ones could be stripped out. Overexcited Americans having...
Yeah, it's not just fake, but the invalidity is what they were talking about. Some signatures are found to be invalid. They'll be removed later, so let's keep this going. This is by Accursed Farms. He posted it just this morning, I believe.
The reason why is fairly simple. Fake ones could be stripped out.
The page is
Overexcited
busted,
Americans having fun with a VPN, I don't know, could probably try to sign up for this. Wouldn't help the initiative. It would probably get scrubbed. And, well, if you're in America, you can't sign an EU petition. So it's not a guaranteed thing just yet, but it's...
Now, this is the UK one, I think, and this is already over 100,000. I checked it this morning.
Certainly is looking like it's going to pass 1 million. Now, what happens if it succeeds is basically this. The EU Commission will consider further action. That could be legislative action, or it could just be guidance on existing consumer laws. Now, no matter what, the industry would have significant input, but regardless, we would get a formal statement on the matter and its legality. And that's actually a powerful starting point for future conversations and new laws. But here's the thing, it gets even better. Because those conversations have already begun, and we've already started to make progress. Through all the noise and all the drama, the core problems...
All right, the potential impacts. So I'll just check this part. I'll just check this part out, then we'll go to the Kohberger stuff, which will be pretty short.
Fairly simple. That audiences often think they're buying a product when they buy a game, but in reality, they're actually buying licenses. Now, since October, Steam explicitly states that all purchases are licenses, that it's not ownership. And that was always the case. It's just that now it's no longer hidden in their EULA.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Steam itself, or at least Gabe Newell, came out and actually supported the Stop Killing Games. I believe I remember seeing that.
And Valve's timing was, let's just say, curious here. That's because California signed AB 2426, stating that any media that you can't permanently access offline must be labeled as a license.
I mean, but this is... I'm not sure what this actually has important to this. I mean, it's kind of tangentially related, obviously, but Stop Killing Games is specifically in the EU and the UK. So while it'd be good to have this across the entire world, of course, the American fight is a story for another day.
Not a product. Now, another side to this is companies seeing PR opportunities, and there's a beautiful irony. Ubisoft, yes, the very company that started this whole mess, is actually taking action. That's because they're testing offline modes for the Crew 2 and Motorfest, and I think it's fairly clear that the Stop Killing Games movement inspired this. So, you know what? In certain ways, it's already winning. Now, another thing that could inspire this was an actual lawsuit, specifically a Californian one about the closure of the Crew. But that lawsuit is actually facing some problems right now. And that's because of a Final Fantasy XI related precedent that lets companies remove users from games. Because, well, as a user, all you've bought is a license, and that can be revoked.
I feel like you should receive some... Apparently it's 2,000 votes away as of now. I feel like if you're banned permanently from an online game like World of Warcraft, Street Fighter Online, or whatever, I feel like you should get a portion of a refund. That's my only personal opinion. But it's kind of an unimportant thing. I guess you can make the argument that you've already had like hours and hours of joy out of it. But like, let's say you say a Game Award or something. I feel like when you get banned from that game and it gets disabled, I think this is an issue with the Switch 2s, right? Like if you change anything, they brick your console. I feel like you should be entitled. Like, if they want to take away your service, maybe fine. Okay, that's their prerogative. But they should at least do the bare minimum and refund your purchase if they want. If they really want to stand up for banning you in these sort of places, then I feel like they should just hand back the money, right? If they don't want your business, they don't want your money, surely. Of course, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. But in a more just world, perhaps. Stop Killing Games isn't about ownership. It's about allowing players who paid for the license to still be able to play. What? I mean, that's what I would consider ownership. I think I'm not sure you're really arguing anything here. Stop Killing Games is about the ability to play things that you own. I think at the most base level, which what I would say is argument. So I'm a bit confused about this comment. I don't think it's worded very well.
That obviously plays to Ubisoft's advantage in that lawsuit. But looking at the big picture, we actually do see the developers are choosing to address these issues, and not because
ownership. No, that's ownership of the IP rights. Okay. No, like if I say that all right, if I buy a Toyota, I now own the Toyota car. I can drive it. I can do whatever I want with it. I can smash it. I can take care of it and stuff. I don't own the IP of or the ability to produce Toyotas. That's completely different. That's not about what this is about at all.
Because they're being forced to by the law, seemingly because they want to. But there are many reasons for that. It could be PR, or it could simply be because they see what way the wind is blowing. Here's something cool. Take a look at Supermove's World of Parkour.
All right, I think I'm done with Baylor for now. All right, so let's go to the Brian Kohberger stuff. Yeah, this is probably AM's probably correct. This is probably a better example. You can own a movie DVD, but you can't reproduce it for money. Yeah. Apparently, Shinobu also owns a Toyota. Guys, it's not important. I think that's essentially what I said here. I think that's what people understand when you say that. Just talk about John Deere. John Deere is, I really don't like John Deere and everything related to them. And I think that once we get our games back, we should go after John Deere next, honestly. But there you go. With tractors, you can, yeah, I know about John Deere. We're not talking about, I think if you buy John Deere, you're a cuck, okay? All right, so this is from Brian Enton. He is the on-the-ground reporter that's been covering the Kohberger case for practically the last 3 years. He was inside the courtroom today. These are his live updates. We'll check out this, then we'll check out the news article. So, in line outside waiting for the courtroom to get in, they have us up against the wall to make room for the families of victims as they walk to enter. Everyone is silent. I feel so sad for them. That's the first update. So in the courtroom, Kohberger is here now. It's about to start. Kohberger judge says people calling his office about this case has been incredibly disruptive for him and the staff. I don't know why people do this. Like, there was this really funny, like, psychic, not funny, haha, but funny, weird. There was like this psychic person, that's the psychic TikToker that said that like it was the teacher, but people all have their theories and they're like calling up the judge and trying to get them to listen to their fan theory. This is a bad idea. Why do people do this? Like I said, unless you have actual information, don't contact these people. Don't interfere with these people. People can't resist. They have to have their voice heard. It's like, judge, you have to make this man stand up on trial and tell him every exact detail because I need it for my completion, my 100% any percent win of this court case or something. Don't do this. Don't do this. I blame Reddit. It is funny how often Reddit gets things wrong and then they destroy people's lives, like with that Boston bomber thing. That was pretty funny. Let me see. The Kohberger judge says he has not listened to any of the voicemail he has. It is not appropriate for me to do this. Not something I would take into account when deciding a case like this. Judges say this, but they absolutely take what people say into consideration because it's like an unconscious bias, although it may be a very small amount. But not listening to the voicemails, yeah, I'm sure that's probably accurate. Judge Hitler says the first he heard of Kohberger's plea agreement was Monday afternoon, and he heard no inkling of it beforehand. So it's kind of a surprise. Now, I think the reason for this is that the defense actually asked for a plea deal. So Kohberger's team said, look, we're going to trial next month. Can we just have a plea deal, please? Judge Hitler is going over the details of Kohberger's plea right now. Life sentences to run consecutively, waives right to appeal. Kohberger is taking an oath now to tell the truth. Judge asks him just about to ask him questions. Kohberger says he understands the nature of the charges he is pleading guilty to. So far, he is answering yes or no questions. I think this is going to really drive a lot of the wine aunts insane. Are you pleading guilty because you're guilty? Yes, says Kohberger. Judge says you stabbed and murdered Madison. You deliberately killed and murdered Kaylee. You deliberately killed and murdered Zana. You killed and murdered Ethan. Do you understand you're admitting to those things? And they are true? He responds, yes. Judge says, did you enter the residence at 1122 King Road with the intent to commit murder? Yes, so premeditation is established. Kohberger just admitted to killing the victims with premeditation. Prosecutor says back in March of 2022, when Kohberger was living with his parents in Pennsylvania, he purchased the knife. He says Kohberger, in July of 2022, Kohberger's phone began connecting to a cell tower near the victim's home. Now, this is evidence that I haven't actually heard, although it may have been available to people previously. But this will be him scoping out the location, because, like we were talking about, yes, dyslexia is hard sometimes. It would be very odd for him to just pick a random house and go into it without some sort of planning, without some sort of connection to the victims, and I don't think that any connection was actually established. But it seems that as of earlier in the year, of course, the murders were, I believe, in November, he was in the vicinity. Now, the cell tower near the victim's home is very vague. He could have just been going past the university. Any number of things that are happening. But it is kind of the first sort of establishment that we have of him potentially casing the joint. State says early in the morning of November 13th, Kohberger's phone left his residence in Pullman and then was turned off during the time of the murders. Surveillance cameras shows Kohberger's cars circling the King Road neighborhood starting around 3:30 a.m. 5:04 a.m. Kohberger's car did a U-turn and parked above and behind the residence. Now, this is actually interesting as well, because I did make a mistake yesterday when I said I thought he entered through the front door, but this actually confirms kind of the theory that we had. I guess, congratulations, I guess. But we were looking at the house and we were talking about how the house had this dark area behind the residence where there was very easy access from the tree line into the kitchen patio sliding door where the dog was. And how it's you can kind of see into various rooms from that point of view in a very dark area. And you have the perfect point of view and perspective to just wait for the right moment. Kohberger entered the residence, went to the third floor, killed Madison and Kaylee, left the sheath behind next to Madison's body. Zana was still awake at this time. Kohberger encountered Zana and killed her with a knife. Ethan was still asleep. Kohberger then killed him with a knife. Each victim suffered multiple wounds. No evidence of SA on any victims. Surviving roommates saw Kohberger leaving through the kitchen door. Defendant's car is later seen on a neighbor's surveillance video, leaving the area at a high rate of speed. Car almost loses control. And again, this is another piece of detail. This is another piece of evidence that I believe the public was not privy to and was very perplexing. And that's one of the things that's kind of important to remember as well, because I remember even when we were doing streams about this back in November, we were talking about why do the cops not have any information. It seems like they had this information all along. They just never exposed it to the public, which is pretty much typical. But for the pro-burgers out there, the people that are still convinced about his evidence, all of this, when seen together, it was fun. It was fun to think about the idea that maybe he was set up, or maybe the state had nothing. But it seems like the state actually has quite a bit, and not necessarily a super amount, but enough, I believe, to convince a jury. If I heard that, and it's going to mention this later on in these tweets, I believe, but the fact that he bought the knife, he later tried to delete the knife purchase. He was around scoping the joint out. He was in the vicinity. His car was spotted. He returned at 9 a.m. I already mentioned that he tried to delete the things. The DNA evidence being found, there's enough to convince a jury, in my opinion. All right, let's see. After murders, Kohberger drove back down the road south of Moscow, Idaho. At 4:48, his phone comes back on. 5:30 a.m. surveillance camera in Pullman, Washington showed Kohberger entering the area to his apartment. He arrived at his apartment at 5:30. Later that morning, Kohberger went back to the murder house around 9 a.m. He was there for 10 minutes. Then he returned back to his apartment in Pullman. He then took a selfie of himself with a thumbs up in the bathroom. Kohberger is sitting and listening intently as the prosecutor explains what he did. Kohberger later tried to delete his transaction history on Amazon that shows he bought the knife. Even though this is not this sort of evidence, even though deleting Amazon purchase history is not evidence of murdering someone, if you say this to a jury, they're almost certainly going to say, because the average person will say, well, of course he's trying to hide something. Of course he's trying to hide something. So if he'd taken this to trial, because I was talking like, well, would I have taken this to trial if I was in his position? Yesterday I would have said yes. After today, I would have probably said no. If this is what Kohberger was presented with, that they had all this stuff, it makes a lot more sense why he would take the plea deal. He also went to the DMV to try and change his car's registration. After the murders, Kohberger finished his studies at Washington State and then returned to Pennsylvania for the holidays. Investigators took trash from Kohberger's parents' house in Pennsylvania. I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to do this, but it doesn't really matter. Lab then later identified DNA on the Q-tip as the father of the persons whose DNA was found on the knife sheath. Knife has not been recovered, the prosecutor says. Prosecutors are getting emotional, saying Kohberger killed Kaylee, Ethan, Maddie, and Zana. He is choking up. Judge, how do you plead, Mr. Kohberger? Guilty. They're going through each of the victims' names. Kohberger has zero expressions or emotion. Well, remember that body language guy we looked at last night? He has a video already out about Kohberger in the trial. Kohberger is sentencing is on the 23rd of July at 9 a.m. That is when the victims will be able to make their statements. Kohberger could also talk. I'd be interested to see if he actually says something. Kohberger's hearing is over. He admitted to it all. I am sitting behind his parents. I believe that is the last one. Oh, no, wait. Brian Kohberger's parents are not crying, but they look sad, unlike his son, who is stone cold. And then we have a picture of the 4 victims. All right. I'm gonna call someone out for a second, okay? Because I said that Kohberger looked like a pretty normal person, and I agree with that, but he does have this like kind of prominent ridge, kind of like a Neanderthal ridge that makes his eyes look like always in shadows. I'm not sure if they're doing this intentionally to make him look creepier, but I'll bring up a tweet by my good friend. Where is it? Just give me a second here. Here it is. I think Brian Kohberger looks like a normal person. All right, but let's call out Danny on Direct. Danny on Direct, my good friend, says, all right, I can say it now. Brian Kohberger is naturally the creepiest looking motherfucker I have ever seen. Soulless and empty. What a complete loser. May he rot in hell. Now, I agree. Soulless and empty. What a complete loser. I agree with this part. But this is just like a normal guy, right? I mean, these photos are not very... This photo in particular is not very flattering. But I think a normal picture of Brian Kohberger looks pretty normal. Let me see if I can find... I gotta find a picture that backs up my claim, where he just looks normal. All right, like if I look at a picture like this, like if I look at a picture, it just looks like a normal guy. He just looks like a normal guy. Like, come on now. I think like the people that say like, oh, I could just tell he looked like a serial killer. I think they're using hindsight bias, I think is what I would say. But I like Danny. I just thought it was funny because I say this guy looks normal, and apparently every other person on the planet is just like, oh, I could tell he just looks like a murderer. He just looks like a new murderer. I don't think you can tell that from a person. He does look pretty bad in this photo, though. I probably wouldn't have gone with this. And again, like these eyebrows, like this ridge, for some does put his face in shadows, which does make him look a little bit like this. This photo looks a little bit creepy. This photo looks a little bit creepy. All right, so we'll take a look at this. Here is the new evidence we've learned about during Brian Kohberger's plea hearing. Will there be dinos after this? Unfortunately, no. But there should be some dinos maybe in the weekend. I want to get back and play. Let's see. Then this. Oh, wait, this I didn't mean to click on this one. There we go. All right. So after 2.5 years of desperately searching for answers, the deaths of the 4 Idaho college students, the case reached a bitter resolution. I don't know why people keep saying this is a bitter resolution. Like, I feel like this is one of the best. I feel like this is the second best alternative for this. Like, the best alternative was him being shot. The second best is life in prison, 4 consecutive life sentences, and no opportunity of parole. That's a pretty good resolution. I think a lot of people are just upset, honestly, because they wanted to watch the story in court and they feel like they've been robbed of like a story, you know? Like they want Brian to be on the stand telling every detail so they can be justified if they were right or wrong with their friends who have been theory crafting about this. But the thing is, if Brian went to trial, he wouldn't have said anything because he would say, no, I'm innocent. It's innocent until proven guilty. I will not tell you the details of how I murdered these people or where I hid the knife. So, like, you actually get more information from this result. Although some people are demanding that the judge should have, or that the prosecution should have been more adamant in making him explain more details so that they could have him dead to rights, sort of thing. But it kind of doesn't matter. It's a loss for LordTube. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Honestly, is that some people are just upset that there is not a good, there's not a picture perfect ending for this. But I feel like this is the second best result. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the chats. Kohberger seated behind a table in an off-white button shirt and a patterned tie. Is that? Oh yeah. What do we think about this tie? This is not a good tie. I would have been wearing a tie with kittens and shit on it. Anything that can maybe endear you to the trial in any single way. Not that I own a tie at all. Let me see. He responded to questions from the judge with a series of simple yeses and neutral gaze, admitting one-word answers Wednesday that he planned and carried out the brutal stabbings of the Idaho 4. While Kohberger himself didn't give a direct account of what happened, Wednesday marked a pivotal moment in the case, shrouded in secrecy from gag orders and sealed filings, momentarily shared with a wider picture with the victims' families and the public who have been begging for answers. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson, who had led the case since the early winter days of Kohberger being charged, gave a play-by-play of the evidence prosecutors intended to present at trial, painting the most detailed look at the case that has only been revealed through broad strokes pieced together from court documents. The new evidence shared during Wednesday's hearing included a car rushing away from the scene. I mean, that's like a pretty, like, for, again, you're allowed to rush around in your car, but like the fact that his car was like speeding from the scene where it almost ran into things, it kind of suggests like a lot, like his, his adrenaline's high. He's just gone through this, like that's why he's making these mistakes, sort of thing. You can infer a lot from that. And like I said, you don't need to, you just need to convince the jury. And I feel like that is one piece of evidence like that the jury would have responded to very positively. New insight into how Kohberger encountered a roommate, and they used a Q-tip abandoned in the trash for the crime. While the image of what happened in the early morning of the hours of November 13th is now sharper and many details are still left out of focus, it is unclear whether we will have the full clarity of why those horrific acts occurred. Now, this is the lingering question. And I think some people are saying, or a lot of people are saying, that they think it's because Kohberger wanted to have notoriety. He wanted to be seen as powerful. He wanted to be like, maybe he was going to write a book about himself as this mysterious murder that happened in his backyard. I guess we'll never know, but at least not for years. We'll never know. Apparently, we're only one, maybe we may even hit 1 million signatures by the end of this stream, but probably be tomorrow morning. Here is what Thompson shared during the accounts of the events. In July 2022, 4 months before the murders, Kohberger's cell phone began pinging near a cell tower in the victim's home. From July 9th to the times of the murder, Kohberger's phone connected to the area approximately 23 times between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., he said. Now, I wouldn't be concerned about these ones, honestly, because when we look at a map of Moscow, 112 King Road. All right, so we'll go to this. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. All right, so this is King Road here. Now, the thing is that the University of Idaho is right here. It's like, I think, less than a kilometer away, or about very, very close. So any time that Kohberger would have been visiting the University of Idaho, I mean, I'm not sure he actually, I think he went to the one in Pullman, right? It doesn't matter. But like, there's a very reasonable reason for him to be in that area. Now, if it's like 4 a.m., that's obviously a lot less reasonable. And that would be a lot more condemning of his actions. But saying that he's like just connecting to the tower near, we don't know the range of these towers. I think like the entire town basically would be covered by the same tower, if not 1 or 2 or 3 towers. Like, he literally just could have been going to the Jiffy Loop and he would have gone past Kings Road. So that's not the most convincing for me, although I do think that he did it. But like, between 10 a.m. and 4 a.m., that is pretty sus. That is pretty sus in particular. While Kohberger was in the area, prosecutors have no evidence that shows he had direct contact with the King Road home or its counterparts. Thompson said prosecutors didn't share insight as to why he was in the area or how he ended up coming upon the residence. He also noted that while his cell phone connected to a nearby cell tower, the area is densely populated and includes a lot of homes. In the early hours of November 30, Thompson and Kohberger left his home in Pullman, Washington, drives 10 miles to Moscow, and turned off his phone from 2:54 a.m. to 4:48. He should have just left his phone at home, honestly. Like, just don't bring your phone with you. Not that it would have mattered, really, because they still have the video evidence of him going, like, leaving his house on the CCTV camera, and then also getting back at 5 a.m. But it may have been more convincing if he just left his phone at home, because then he could have at least lied and said that, like, well, my phone was hit here, so surely I was here too. What you got to do is you got to leave your phone in your room and sneak out somehow. You know, you like park like a mile away from your house, sneak out the window in like a hoodie or something, and then sneak back in so that you don't show up on the front door and everything. I mean, in theory. While there were no cell phone tower pings during his time because his phone was off, compiled video surveillance showed Kohberger's car entering Moscow, driving around the neighborhood, including to the end of the dead-end road. And again, this is the most damning piece of evidence right here, where the roommate's house was located. Kohberger ultimately parked the car behind the residence, he said. So this is the house you see up here. Right behind it, you can drive. There was like a big dormitory here. The light on the house was broken, so it was even more dark. And you can actually just see from this photo just how dark and gloomy it is, right? With just the front sort of illuminated. Obviously, this is after nobody's living there. But you can drive all the way up here, and you can hide your car in these trees, essentially, looking into the house. If they're not got their curtains drawn, you can look into the rooms directly. And then there's like a patio kitchen sliding door that he came in through this angle here. So the fact that his car went up to here and then was sped off down here is, again, like pretty convincing to a jury. The evidence shows Kohberger encountered Canoodle in the hallway and ended up killing her. Thompson implying that he may not have originally intended to do so. Chaplin, who was asleep in Canoodle's bedroom, was also fatally stabbed by Kohberger, the prosecutor said, without sharing details of how or why Chaplin was targeted. I think he was just in the room there at the same time. It's just bad timing for him, honestly. I mean, it's bad timing and, I mean, bad luck for all of them, but in Chaplin's case in particular, because he didn't live there. He was just visiting his girlfriend. The realization is especially haunting given that Dylan, one of the surviving roommates who was awake at the time of the murders, said she saw someone in a black mask walk through the house. Now, this is what's confused me, because I think Dylan's room was down here, and there was a bathroom down here. So at what point did she see Kohberger? Unless he walked down the staircase and saw her, but then decided to leave her alive? Which doesn't make sense. Unless maybe he thought he was smart enough to just get away with everything and he wanted there to be one witness so that someone could tell his story. But again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think the most reasonable thing is that she was in a darkened area and he just didn't see her. You know, like it's 3 a.m., the lights are off, you're standing in a doorway. Maybe his eyes aren't adjusted to the darkness because he's been up in the rooms where the lights were on because the girls were texting or something. And she just survived by pure luck. It's very, very... I think that's it. I think that's the case. It's just pure luck for her case. But you never know. You never know what goes in the mind of a psychopath. Let's see. No explanation was given by prosecutors on why she was targeted. While prosecutors believe Kohberger went to the home with the intent to kill, we will not represent that he intended to commit all the murders, but that is what happened. The aftermath. At 4:20 a.m., I won't say it. A car identified as Kohberger's was seen leaving the area at a high rate of speed on nearby cameras and almost loses control around the corner. I mean, it was a snowy, cold, dark night. So it's pretty easy, I guess, to lose control as well. Prosecutors believe Kohberger then took a series of back roads to return to Pullman, as no evidence was seen of his car from the nearby highway cameras that morning. Cameras show him entering Pullman in the south around 5:26 a.m. and arriving at his apartment 7 minutes later. Prosecutors previously said in a court filing during hearings that a single source of male DNA was discovered on the sheath of the K-bar knife. And again, this is like kind of the craziest thing about this entire case, is that had he not left the K-bar sheath under the bed, then he may have got away with it. But then again, if his dad didn't submit the Ancestry.com DNA thing, they may not have got him either. But like, this is why you have to put those K-bar knife things, they have like a belt loop. You put it around, like every time you go out with a knife, like just if you're going like hunting or something, right? You have to have your knife in the belt loop. Like wear a belt, man. If you're not wearing a belt, you're naked if you're a man. The weapon believed to be used in the stabbings found near 2 of the victims. The murder weapon hasn't been found. I mean, it's never going to be found unless he gives it up. I would assume that the weapon is either he lobbed it into a river, which would have been the smart move, or more likely, I think, because he's probably got some sort of attachment to the weapon, it's likely in a small tin box buried under like a tree or something, so that he can retrieve it at a later date. Of course, now he'll never be able to. Investigators narrowed in on Kohberger and tested trash in his parents' Pennsylvania home, where Q-tips were found containing DNA matching the... Like, you're not supposed to use Q-tips. They're bad for your ears. I'll just put that out there as well. Also, they're bad for you getting caught in situations. Although I thought they also got some DNA off a pizza box, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Investigators later tested Kohberger's DNA and found it to be a match on the DNA on the sheath. A search of Kohberger's Pullman residence 6 to 8 weeks after the murder found it to be nearly empty, with Thompson saying that there was virtually nothing there. His car, which was seized, had also been meticulously cleaned inside. Even parts of the car that are often dirty from use, like the side door compartments, were spotless. Calling the intense cleaning part of Kohberger's plan. You know what's kind of crazy? That the one, like... Because, like, it seems like it's so hard to get away with these sort of things, right? But then there's one guy who he absolutely got away with it, and that's JF Garapi. He got away with it, and he keeps laughing in the face of the investigators. Like, he absolutely did it. Are they going to... Why haven't they caught JF yet? We need to get those... We need to get the American police up into Canada or something. Let me see. Wednesday hearing left one giant hole in the story. Why Kohberger targeted the residents of the house? It is unclear if the public will ever get an answer. It is not required by the plea deal. This is what people are really pissed off about. Is they just want to know why, but like the reason why is probably he just, you know, if it's not killing, it's not fulfilling. He had a desire to kill and he acted out on it and he almost got away with it, which is terrifying. The plea agreement and the written factual bias filed Wednesday following the hearing offer little insight as to why Kohberger committed the appalling crimes he admitted to. The victims' families in particular are left without answers, leaving them to wonder why this happened to their loved ones and as they began their adult lives. I mean, no answer would be satisfying, though. Like, I know there's a desire to know what happened, but even if you find out, your children are still dead. So, you know, I can empathize with the parents, but like nothing will make them happy. That's a sad reality. There is no stipulation that Kohberger's plea agreement to prevent him from doing interviews with the media or writing a book. I think some people are like think that they're like, you can't let him live because he's going to write a book. But then they're like, tell us how you did it, but don't let him write a book. I mean, even if he writes a book and it becomes like a bestseller or something, he's going to be in prison forever. So he gets a few extra M&Ms while he's getting pounded in the ass by Bubba. Okay? A trove of documents and discovery that could shine more light onto the case remains sealed by the court. It is expected to stay that way until after the sentencing on July 23rd, but it's unclear the court will handle this large volume of material. Steve Gonsalves, Kaylee's father, spoke after the hearing about his disappointment, saying it was terrible. We let her down. They let my daughter down. All right, there you go. How much mail do you think that Kohberger is going to get in prison? Like, every time there's a serial killer, they get, like, fangirls, right? But how many angry LawTube fans do you think are going to write in and tell me, well, how did you do it? Tell me how you did it, you monster. Where is it? Where's the knife? Very funny. How much mail? A lot. Yeah, he's going to get a lot. But I imagine he is going to get something in the range of, like, tens of thousands of letters. I would not be surprised whatsoever to hear that he has, like, if not the most mail that a prisoner has ever been sent, because so many people. Now, come on now. If they could read or write, they'd be very upset by this comment, but they can't. So yeah, so we can get away with it. If those LawTubers could read, very much like myself. Alrighty. I think that's all I got for you today. Is anyone else streaming today? I'll have a quick look, shall we? Does Idaho do conjugal visits? I don't think that's going to be on the table somehow. He looks like a police officer. Somewhat. Check the petition. Okay, I'll check the petition before we're out. I'll just see if anyone's streaming. Nick Starro is doing a stream. He is doing a Brian Walsh hearing. I'll send you this. I'll send you to the Swedish boy after this. But I will check the Stop Killing Games thing. Has it hit the goal? Chat. How do I do this? Add this to here. Or if there's a direct link. Baldo's not streaming tonight. That's true. But there has been a sign of life because he's been mysteriously offline. It seems like Nick has learned the most important thing possible. That is that you can stop talking about things. Stop killing games. Let's check this out. It wasn't loading for me before. I think the website is being flooded with people refreshing the page because it's literally not loading for me. Yeah, like it's not. All right, now it loads. It loaded. Sign the UK petition. Let's see what the UK can be. Maybe that we can see that. Parliament petition high. So the UK signature now has 130 signatures. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll go to Accursed Farm's Twitter account, and if it's hit the goal, he will definitely have posted about it if he's awake. Where is it? Being able to spell accursed would be the first step in this. There we go. I found it. Let me see. 35 minutes ago, the EU initiative site. The EU initiative site is currently being hammered. I'll say come back later. We still have until the end of the month to sign. So it's absolutely passing. That's good. I would assume it's already passed. We just won't know. But they this is good because this is the last time he was going to give up on this. We decided to stay. Also, I think I saw an update from Stone Toss, which is kind of funny. Because people keep talking about this horse game, this horse anime game, which I think is haram. But hold on, this is kind of funny. Because I made the same joke about this. He's just like me for real. Let's see. Here it is. Everyone's going crazy for this horse game. Check out this cute horse skill anime. Oni-chan, I hurt my leg. Don't worry. I know what to do. Blam. Yep, straight to the glue factory. That's exactly what I would have done too. How cringe did I didn't watch the Turtle Boy interview. I'm not sure I'm still not sure what Turtle Boy is or does. I just know that he gets about 10,000 views by himself, and that he talked to Kurt, he talked to Burkhart, he talked to Nick. Nick did the worst. That's all I know. But enjoy your horse girls, you degenerate sickos or whatever. I think we're out. Peace. Once I can find.
It's false. No, it's not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication.